Welcome back to Donington Park and the Power Maxed Mini Challenge. The Coopers had their first outing onto the tarmac yesterday.
So here's how the Mini Cooper drivers finished yesterday. Nathan Harrison led them home, followed by Max Bladen, Martin Poole and Mark Wayfield. Henry Neal completed the top 5 ahead of Ricky Page.
Well, here is race winner Nathan Harrison. So that was nice to get a few more extra points ahead of Ricky.
Yeah, for sure it was. The race went really well yesterday. The plan was to try and get into the lead straight away and pull away, and it's just a matter of keeping it consistent, and we managed to bring it home in P1.
Max, you had a bit of a difficult weekend at Alton Park, but fastest lap at Donington.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing race yesterday, and obviously the Accelerate put a great car together, and it all came through in fastest lap in a second position. Couldn't have asked much more, especially after disappointing Alton.
Martin, congratulations on yesterday's third. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, wasn't a brilliant start to the race, but just after that just got a head down. Not much action really, like loads of overtaking, but just benefiting off consistency and just pulling out third in the end. Happy with that. With a new car after last race at Alton, so really good for the start of the weekend.
A good solid race for the Coopers yesterday. Nathan Harrison will be looking to get more points now as they head out for their second race of the weekend.
Well, Nathan Harrison's going to have to roll his sleeves up if he's going to win this one, because he starts from 5th on the grid. Pole position goes to Henry Neal, who shares the front row with Mark Wakefield. Martin Poole and Max Bladen side by side on the second row of the grid. And Nathan Harrison's got multiple winner Ricky Page for company on the third row. We are ready for the start, and away they go. And it's not such a good start by Henry Neal. Mark Wakefield immediately by into the lead. Field fanning out behind them, but I can already see Nathan Harrison from 5th on the grid has slotted his Mini Cooper up into 3rd position, so an excellent getaway for Harrison. He takes 3rd place, and Page is edged slightly wide as they come out of Redgate, so Page having to hold back in 5th place for the time being. But it's Mark Wakefield who leads the field as they plunge through the Craner curves and head down towards the old hairpin. Henry Neal is covering off the inside line against Nathan Harrison. Harrison there in 3rd place at the moment, and the rest of the field now climbing up towards McLean's. They're very uphill and down dale around this Donington Park Grand Prix circuit. There is Mark Wakefield, and I can already see Nathan Harrison is sitting in his slipstream. He's trying to get a run on Henry Neal, while Neal takes a run on the outside of McLean's. I think it's Nathan Harrison who's going to take advantage here. They come out of the corner side by side and head towards Coppice, and Nathan Harrison will certainly have the whip hand and the inside line as they went towards the next right-hander. We'll see them as they come all out onto the back straight, and sure enough, Nathan Harrison has already moved his way up to 2nd place, so an excellent start to the race from him from 5th on the grid. So it's Mark Wakefield ahead of Nathan Harrison, followed by Henry Neal in 3rd position, and we've got 3 cars going side by side into the Fogarty chicane and accelerating out of it. That is Darren Chatt in the black and green car side by side with Ricky Page, and they've got Adam Davey for company as well, but they're going to have to brake carefully for the Melbourne hairpin. There's a lot of cement dust down from an earlier problem, and that is going to make it a little bit difficult for the drivers to get their cars stopped for one of the tightest and slowest corners on the track. But our race leader Mark Wakefield is around it with no problems. He continues to lead from Nathan Harrison, but Henry Neal is coming under pressure from Max Bladen in that very distinctive light blue and bright orange Mini Cooper. Will be filling his colours and dazzling him as they head down towards Redgate. Bladen taking a look at the outside line at Redgate. Henry Neal getting defensive, perhaps picking up a few defensive driving tips from his British Touring Car champion father Matt Neal. But he's out of the corner handily for now. Max Bladen, though, looking very insistent in that Mini Cooper. He's clearly got a lot of speed underneath him. He's even taking a little look around the outside line as they head into the Craner curves and shedding a little bit of his Mini's bodywork. They brake for old hairpin, and Henry Neal's got quite a nice line there. He carried quite a bit of speed through to the apex and is able to keep Max Bladen behind for now. And up ahead of them, Mark Wakefield is getting some serious attention from Nathan Harrison. This is where Harrison made his move for 2nd place on the 1st lap. Mark Wakefield is wise to that for now and keeps Harrison neatly bottled up, holds on to his lead for the time being. They break for Coppice, and behind them Henry Neal is once again on the defensive line as Max Bladen seeks to find a way around, but I think Bladen might have got the undercut there. Indeed he has at Coppice, the classic switchback move that we see in the right-hander, which leads the drivers onto this long straight, but it's not been enough just yet. Henry Neal for now is just able to keep his nose ahead as they head down towards this very quick left-right flick Fogarty chicane. Our race leaders are already through and pressing on to the Adelaide hairpin. You can see the drivers favouring to go a few metres to the right of the standard racing line, and even so kicking up an enormous amount of that cement dust. That's going to clean up, I would expect, as the course of this race continues, and I think we'll see more and more drivers edging towards the true racing line down at the Adelaide hairpin in pursuit of a move to get ahead of a rival. But for now, at least, Nathan Harrison holding on to second position, and Henry Neal clinging on to that third place, but quite a train beginning to develop behind him now. And Rebecca Ryder having some kind of problem down at the Adelaide hairpin, possibly not getting the best out of that car right now, but has dropped some way back from the main pack. But here is Henry Neal, and that queue of Mini Coopers now filling his mirrors as they round the old hairpin, and he's put a couple of wheels onto the dirt, and he is going to be immediately punished for that by Max Bladen, who's straight past him and up into third place. And Nathan Harrison taking a little look again at Mark Wakefield, not able to make it stick there, but we have a new driver in third position. Max Bladen has taken over third from Henry Neal. Was Neal able to keep the others by? No, Ricky Page also down to the inside, and Max Bladen very wide in Coppice, and that's allowed Ricky Page to really take advantage there. He's moved up 2 places. Henry Neal is also well placed to potentially get past Max Bladen here. There's an excellent battle going on. There's a very close battle between our 2 leaders, Mark Wakefield and Nathan Harrison, but then behind them we've got 7 or 8 cars practically tripping over each other as they came out of Coppice and went down towards the chicane. But we keep an eye on this very, very tight battle for the lead. Not so much a defensive line being taken by Mark Wakefield as a hairpin, but the new line that keeps them away from all the cement dust. Ricky Page solidly up into third position, and Henry Neal has lost his grip on fourth place, but it's not to Max Bladen. Bladen is still behind Neal at the moment. One of their other rivals has inserted themselves into that position, and Mark Wakefield still continues to soak up enormous pressure from Nathan Harrison, who will now see Ricky Page has appeared behind him in third place, and that is a rival he will definitely have a lot of regard for. Ricky Page has been pretty competitive so far this year, and that will only spur Harrison on to try to finish off that move. Darren Chatt pulling onto fourth. You could throw a blanket over the occupants of 6th, 7th, 8th positions and the rest. They are super close as they come out of Redgate, trying to take advantage of Henry Neal, and we've got contact between Adam Davey and Simon Walton, and that definitely resulted in Davey heading off the track. So we've got another car off up at the top at Redgate, and once again our leaders are absolutely nose to tail. Mark Wakefield has got Nathan Harrison right on his bumper as they come towards McLean's, and this was Harrison's preferred overtaking spot on the first lap, and so it is this time by. He manages to get that Mini up the inside, and he has got a hole now on first place, but it's by the slenderest of margins. Mark Wakefield absolutely tucked right up behind him. They round Coppice as if the 2 cars have been attached to each other, and is that going to give Mark Wakefield the chance to dive down the inside at Fogarty? He's tucked right up into the slipstream of the fellow Mini Cooper. Does he fancy getting on the brakes later than Nathan Harrison? No, he doesn't. He holds on to that second place for the time being. Harrison taking quite a bit of curve, and the car bouncing up and down. Quite heavily laden at the front, not so heavily laden at the back. The car chopping around as it comes out of the chicane. Wakefield continuing to apply the pressure, but Harrison coping with it all fine for now, having taken over the lead. Is he now going to be able to stretch that advantage over Mark Wakefield? And behind them, Ricky Page is edging ever closer towards the duo, so we could eventually have a bit more of a battle for second, or maybe even a 3-way battle for the lead developing at the sharp end of this race, because although Nathan Harrison's been able to get past Mark Wakefield, he only seems to be very slightly quicker than him. He's only very slowly pulling clear, but Ricky Page is in third position. And you can see the rest of the field now a little bit more strung out behind them. Max Bladen is in 5th place behind Darren Chatt. And there is Henry Neal now down to 6th, having started right up at the sharp end. He is being pursued by Martin Poole, and behind him is Simon Walton, who we saw have that contact on the previous lap. So Simon Walton was able to keep his car on the track while Adam Davey headed off. Power Max mini action continues after the break.